Hello, welcome to our video about how to make a music lesson video. In this video we're going to look at how we work with a single camera in a small indoor space, how we set up for two cameras to do a music lesson video. We'll look very briefly at setting up for outdoors. We'll have a very quick look at post-production, putting the film together, and we'll also look at how we launch this to YouTube. Right, let's get started. Before you start your music lesson video, you need to do just a few basic things, really. First of all, getting a plan is a good idea. A little plan to work to. It can be fairly loose and open, or it can be very, very detailed, but you do need something. It's a good idea if your plan is structured around the old-fashioned beginning, middle and end type structure, and within that you can put all the however much detail that you want. I have a plan for this video, for example. It's written down here, and it just follows that basic beginning, middle, end structure, and within that I've got the lines of the different things that we're going to cover. Before you start filming, make sure you've got a few things ready. Get yourself ready. Make sure you've got the right clothes on that you want to wear. Brush your hair, put your makeup on if you need to, clean your teeth. That's really a good idea. You don't want to be doing a film and at the end of it realise you've got your lettuce stuck in your teeth. So do that first. Turn off your phone. If you wear a hat in a video, usually, make sure you've got your hat handy. I'll mention that again later on in the video and explain maybe why. If you've got pets in the house or in your space where you're doing your filming, make a decision beforehand whether you want them to be able to join in and steal the show, or whether you'd rather keep them safely out of the camera's view. That's up to you, of course, but it needs thinking about before you start. Okay. In the first part of our video then, we're going to look at the song Boney Maroney. We did a how-to video on this, how to play Boney Maroney video on this just a couple of months ago, and we're going to use that one as our example. Okay.
Well, I love her and she loves me. Oh, what happy we both could be. Hi, Nick here. In this video I'm going to show you how we play Boney Maroney, the old rock and roll tune. I'm going to do it on
Okay,
acoustic.
so here's Nick explaining the opening of his video. He's just doing a standard introduction, saying hi, hello, and here I am, here's my guitar, and all the rest of it. And here's Nick doing that same piece, but this time I'm capturing it on the mobile. I've got two cameras in operation, one catching the actual video and one doing this how-to video. Here I'm showing you the back of the camera. This is the camera settings here, all in manual. So the microphone is in manual, the focus is in manual, the volume is in manual, the whole camera. We're not using automatic on any of the settings. You can see the lens, what we're using there. And you see the M for manual just at the side of the lens there. This is the main softbox that we're using for lighting. That's lighting Nick's face from a slightly higher side angle. Just makes a nice light for him there. The second softbox is lower and is lighting up his hands. That's the microphone. It's as close to him as it possibly can be without being in the view of the camera, and it is linked straight back to the camera. That's the music stand where his instructions, his plan, and the music is. Everything he needs to chat about during the lesson is just there, again out of sight of the camera, but where he can see it by glancing down to it if he needs to. He's also talking about the outro of the same video here, and you'll notice it went through without a break. That's where we can do these two things. We can top and tail the video and do it all in one short film, and then we edit that out into separate sections in sequence later on when we come to do the post-production work. So at this point we haven't filmed anything of the main part of the lesson, just the very beginning and the very end, and here he is playing out.
well, she's not very fair, just kidding. Well, I love her and she loves me. Oh, happy we both could be making love.
Let's have a look at the chords. So the verse is in
Okay, so
12
here
bar
now
in
we've
C,
flipped
so
into
we're
part of the video. This is the finished video, and this is where Nick is actually going into the details of the notes that you need to play, the chord shapes that you're making, any items of technique he'll cover in this part of the lesson. You'll see on the screen that there are rhythm marks. That's what the little side slashes are. And you'll see that the lyrics that he's referring to as he sings the melody are there, as well as a guide. Now we've got the guitar tab. So for the guitarists who actually want to know the positioning of their fingers on the strings, that is in there. Now all of that text work is put in post-production, and we'll talk about that later in this video, but just for now that's showing you where it fits into the main part of this single camera video. So we're using the same camera that we use for the intro and the outro, but we've just brought it a little bit closer in terms of physically being closer to him. So we've got a close-up on his hands, on the fretboard and on the strings, because really at this point that's all that you need to see to learn how to be doing the strum patterns and the fingering on the fretboard. You'll see the chord information is coming up at the bottom there in red, and the rhythm and the lyric information still at the top. Now this is Nick actually doing that main part of the lesson. You'll notice he's discarded the hat. It gets very hot in the hat, and because he's out of shot there, his face, you can see now from looking at the back of the camera, there's no sign of his face or his hat, so nobody's going to see that. So it doesn't matter in terms of continuity that he has the hat on in the intro but not on in the main part of the film. So there's the camera settings. We can see the camera is a little bit closer. It's much closer, you can see, to the music stand. Same microphone setup there as we had before. Same softbox setup, one on each side, one slightly higher and angled down, and one at sort of waist level. Overhead we've just got the room lights on. Black background sitting behind there. And into the back of the camera, I think you can just see everything that you need to see there as to what's going on.
second fret, open, back to second.
So here is the position of the external mic relative to Nick, and here is the position of the music stand, the mic and the camera relative to Nick, just so you can see the spacing. Good. Okay, now we're going to move on to looking at two cameras. This is a really versatile way of making a video, and of course it doesn't have to be a music lesson. We use two cameras generally when we're doing our own music performance videos, for example, so you could adapt this idea to any sort of video making scenario, really. Okay, let's get on. Right, here's a clip from a finished two-camera video.
Okay, let's play it a little slowly. We'll start with picking the tune out to the very start, which goes.
Okay, so in this clip we are looking at a two-camera view, one camera focusing on Nick's left hand on the fretboard, one focusing on his right hand on the strings over the sound hole. You can see that we've also got text appearing at the top of the screen, which again is pointing out the rhythm, and we're outlining the melody by using the lyric, and Nick will be giving his instructions as he goes through. So here is the camera now. The first camera that is focusing on Nick's right hand, that's set at sort of waist level, as close to his hand as we can get it without it being in the way of the other camera. The softbox is directly behind it, and I'm just showing you the back of the softbox here. We can see all 5 lights are on. So that's as full a light as we're getting from that softbox there. Here's his music stand again with the Quando instructions on. Now here's the other camera focusing on Nick's left hand, central focus set up there. You can see that we're recording the sound through this one on manual. On top of this camera we've also got a small light source there. That's really useful, versatile thing that we use quite a bit. Second softbox is also on fully because we really want these close-ups to be as clear as we possibly can because it's a good teaching tool. And that's the manual setting at plus 20 dB on that microphone, and it comes up as 7 into the camera itself. We use Nikon cameras rather than Canon because we feel for recording the amp inside the camera is actually better quality in the Nikon. That's the 2 cameras relative to each other, you can see there. Nick, again, hasn't got his hat on because it's not going to be in shot. If you did want to not wear a hat and be in shot, you just pop some powder on. That was a drink there. Always keep a drink handy when you're doing any sort of talking or singing into a video, just so that you don't get that classic froggy throat syndrome. Okay, now we're going to look at filming outside. So here's Nick setting up outside. We've got a nice open space, as quiet as we can make it in terms of the background noise. We've got the tripod, same camera we looked at in the studio a few minutes ago, sunlight behind us. We're going to sit the other side of that picnic bench. We have the same microphone, this time set up in the picnic bench with the Dead Kitten windshield on top. That's absolutely brilliant, keeps out the wind noise. And here we are, here's what we did earlier. So we're sitting at the picnic bench, the birds are singing, the microphone is picking that up absolutely brilliantly, which in terms of bird song is fine, but you need to think about extraneous noise when you're doing outdoor recording, otherwise you're picking up traffic and all sorts of things that maybe you don't really want. With this video, I'm going to mention that afterwards we realised we perhaps should have reconsidered the sunglasses. Nick and I in those sunglasses maybe don't look as good as Mary, who's not wearing the sunglasses. And the sharp shadows on our faces thrown by the peaked hats that we're both wearing. I've got a broad brim on mine, Nick's got a peak on his hat, and it's putting our faces really into quite deep darkness there. But again, these are things you just think about before you start. How's the world treating you? Good. When you've got all your film clips ready and you're ready to put your lesson together, the thing to think about now is what you're going to do in post-production. And so in this part of our video, we're going to look at how we do that. So here is a picture of the post-production software showing Nick doing a hand clap signal, which is something we do at the beginning of every video where we need to synchronize one camera with another. So the hand clap goes into the auto mic on the first camera, and here's a film of Nick actually doing that. So he does the hand clap, and you'll see that this one's quite dark, and we actually corrected this post-production by using some color correction. I should say we use Lightworks as our post-production software. You'll also see we're able to edit out mistakes where he fluffs his words. So this is the second clap. So we also clap when we're filming on the other camera. It picks up in the other microphone, and in the pink stripe at the bottom of this screen you can see the audio spike, which we match the two audio tracks together, and of course you can see the clap happening as well, so you can synchronize across the pictures and across the sound. And in this shot you can see both of the cameras coming together there with the text added, and on the left hand side you can see where we're typing in the text and the rhythm marks. Towards the right bottom side of this screen you can see all the video tracks and the audio tracks. Now you can see also where we are cropping the screens to make them fit better into the overall look of how we want the lesson to be in these close-ups together. With the same, you can still see the tracks of the video and the audio together. Now we've got the colour wheels come up, and we can use the colour wheels to do any light and dark and colour correction, which I mentioned earlier. Good. Last of all then, in this video we're going to look at how we launch the video to YouTube. To load a video to YouTube, you'll need a Google account. If you have Gmail, for example, then you already have a Google account. So log into that Google account, click the Apps button shown here by the arrow and step 1. That will open up the apps that are available to you. Click the YouTube button where it says step 2. Once you're in YouTube, find the camera icon and then drag and drop your film. There's the camera icon. Drag and drop your film following the instructions. And once you've got your video loaded in YouTube, then you can start to add things like this subscription button. Subscription is important for your followers, that they have the opportunity to subscribe to your channel, because that way they can see immediately when you've got new videos launched. They can see when you're, doing new things, maybe doing some new live stream or whatever. You can also in YouTube add links directly to your other videos in your own channel. This all helps to promote the channel and to give that feeling of fullness, and there's lots going on. These are a couple of other things that we've added at the end of this particular video, where we've gone out to other lessons and to other music videos that we've also done. And again, it just gives that real feeling that there's busyness, there's lots going on, and it engages people and gets them coming back and wanting more from your channel. And what I'm going to show you now is just that same little bit of film that you've just seen in that still, but without all of the YouTube items on it, just to see that when you're making your video, you have to remember to leave space at the end of your video particularly. So Nick's just chatting here, and then he'll play us out with quite a long piece, which will put a nice long slow fade on, both in sound and light. And it's over that fade that we post all of those links that you saw just a few minutes ago that are helping to involve lots of viewers into your channel. And there he goes. Excellent. Thanks for watching. We've covered quite a bit of ground in this video, but we hope you found it useful. What I'd like to just say now is, if you're interested in watching some of our videos, please subscribe to our channel. Please give us a like if you liked the video. That helps people to find the channel. And around me now there are some links that you can follow to some of our videos. Please, you're very welcome to go and have a look at those. That would be great if you did. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.